Dave March. I have a company called Coach Dave March, and this is my book, Vision in Action. So, yeah, this is what I do every day, like for full-time, my own business, and wanted to share some of the tips that I use with all the clients I have. I think it's going to be really important when you're doing all of these projects and stuff to help you market yourself for your next role. So, I think the most important thing is I see a lot of people just extend their resume out like rapid fire and being very reactive when they're sending out resumes instead of being proactive. So, I think that the main thing is first recognize that the position that you're seeking is seeking you just as much as you're seeking it. And it's all about creating alignment with what the position is offering and what you can offer. So main thing is, essentially do market research to align the resume with what the business problems are on the job description. So essentially you're doing market research and change the messaging on the resume. And pretty much what I do, people, is I work with them one-on-one so that we can get all this done, and it's not overwhelming because it can be really like a lot of procrastination involved, and I find that people just like don't do it. So I work with people one-on-one in that case. So really, my whole process is about discovering, attaining, and succeeding in your ideal career. So, there's several steps to doing that. First working on the mindset, and have a mindset of abundance and all that kind of stuff, and then working to really understand the impact that you have on companies, and impact that you would have in any kind of business situation. So starts with self-awareness, and that's why I talk about personality assessments. And as we go through this, you'll see more about like the frameworks that they use and different things that they use to kind of help you get there. So in terms of discovery, like finding out what your ideal career is and everything, first want to have a understanding for yourself of what the position is that you want. So, this is all kind of the pre-work. As we're saying, this is like all the market research, because the enthusiasm that you have will bring you through to the end. So, it has to be a position that you're really passionate about, because that'll create the enthusiasm to do the work. Whether it be, the interview, whether it be the resume writing, or whatever it would be, you want something that you're passionate about, so that you can get through it. And so that's what I talk about here. Thinking about like flexibility. Do you like working in office? Do you like working remotely? What is the commute, right? What's the experience level that you want? And then also, obviously, you have to look at the experience level that you have and the experience level that you want. Some company examples, I always talk to people about creating like top 20 companies that they like. Industry is really important too, even if you don't understand the exact companies that you want, you can look at the industry, and that can be a really good like guiding principle. Company size, headcount is a big piece. Small startup companies work differently than like 10,000 employee companies, as well as the primary work functions, and of course the salary that you're seeking. So all important, again, because that'll keep the enthusiasm going, so that you can break through any kind of issues that you have and kind of get to the end of the journey, because it is a career journey. I talk about personality assessment, because a lot of times what people kind of forget about is soft skills. Like everybody goes into education to get the technical skills, and those are great, of course. There's coding schools and all those different things. It's fantastic. I'm not a person that can teach anything about really the technical stuff, but I can talk about is personalities and soft skills, like working well with others, uniting with others, collaboration, strategic planning, all these kind of things that are more soft skills. And so if you're not aware of what those are for you, you can take a personality assessment, and that can help you understand yourself better and understand your soft skills if you're not aware of what that is. And then I do a skill tree for people so that you can actually map out the skills that you have, and then you can also see what the transferable skills that you have to another industry if you're trying to make a transition. So I encourage people to do mind maps and skill trees. And then, of course, we have the action plan for resume writing, which we're going to talk about, which is SCAMPI. We'll talk about in the next couple slides. So, of course, like personality assessment, again, helps you articulate your knowledge to hiring managers, understand your strengths and abilities, and then, in marketing, there's a whole thing about personas and archetypes, and like different brand archetypes. So that's why I put on hero, like what kind of hero you want to be in your career journey, because that kind of talks about like your branding. Because really, what I encourage people to think about is that resume isn't just what you did; it's marketing collateral, and in that there's also personal branding. The personal branding goes on your LinkedIn profile. So it's helpful sometimes to have like a archetype or a persona, so that guides the personal brand. And this is the idea of skill trees, and if anyone that here understands about like data visualization using like Tableau or any kind of data visualization tools, the skill tree is essentially doing that for you. So that's why helping you kind of see all the skills you have on one page, kind of like a data visualization tool, will help you see all the different things that are going on in a company on one page, is really helpful. So, you can put the things that you need on the right side, things that you don't have, like skills that you have on the right side, skills you don't have on the left side, and you can kind of see, okay, where am I lacking, where am I strong in? So, skill trees are good to great. And yeah, so this will go into this is kind of the main crux. This is the action plan I use when I'm helping people write resumes, and I think this is going to be really helpful for everyone here as well when you're talking about your projects that you're doing, right? This SCAMPI comes from a book called Psychological Foundation for Success, and this is kind of sort of like the SMART goal setting process, but more focused on resume writing. And so again, it's like when you're doing a market research, and even when you're doing these pitches today, it's important to like really identify, okay, what are the challenges, write those out, and then after you find out what the challenges are, then you look at what are the specific things people need to do on a day-to-day basis to overcome the challenges. Then you can say, okay, how are you approaching that? You can approach it in several different ways, and this is again the action plan. So you're just writing all these things out, and it can be used in several different ways, right? Not just for resume writing, for projects and other things too. And then what are the measurable steps? And then how long? So when I write a resume, you want to have like a money metric and a time metric, right? So it's sort of like grew the company by 2.3 million to 9.6 million in 3 years. So you have like a time metric, how long it took, and then measurable, like it was 2.3 million to 9.9 million. So those are the sort of metrics that you want to put on a resume, and also it just helps people to visualize what they're going to know about you. So numbers and metrics are really great, and then the summarization of that is inspirational benefit to the company. So that's pretty much like the main idea there. I know I'm kind of going through this fast. I do want to get to some Q&A at the end. That's why I'm kind of going through this fast. I think it's good to get everyone's engagement here. But this is like an important point with the SCAMPI process. And what I like to help people to kind of understand is that going through the career journey is sort of like a workout, right? You have 3 steps. You have to do the pre-work, which is, like I said, is like the market research, so that you are understanding what the challenges are on the job descriptions that people are putting out there. So that's all the pre-work. And if you were to make this like a workout, you know, before you go to a workout, you drink a pre-work drink, right? So you take that to get energized for your workout. So that's the pre-work. And then the work is once you have all of the market research done, then you get to writing. And that would be like the work. And hitting the weights, pump some iron. And then you have the post-work. As after you do the workout, you have to eat some food, or eat a meal, have a protein shake, something so that you could build up those muscles again, right? And the post-work in the career journey is like interviewing skills and understanding how to do salary negotiation and those type of things. So that's like the 3 stages of the career journey. This is a little more detailed about that. Kind of, again, like the pre-work, knowing your personality, understanding the deliverables that you can offer. You can do some lifestyle mapping, put your 20 companies on paper. And then the work would be using the SCAMPI resume writing system I just talked about. You have a rough draft, second rough draft, and then once you write the resume, you repurpose all that information onto the LinkedIn profile. And you know, with that being said, in the LinkedIn profile, you have a personal brand, and then you can also develop an educational resource. And actually, this what you're doing right now could be that educational resource that's beyond the resume. So that really helps to say it's not just on paper. I've done the work. Here's the project I did at the hackathon. So you know, that could be the pitch deck that you created here. So that can be over and above the resume to really, you know, help people understand your experience. And then the post work is networking. After you write the resume, you can, they're going to ask you to do some networking. You can send your resume, salary negotiation, interviews, and that sort of thing. So that's the 3 steps of the career journey. Wanted to kind of, let's see, how are we doing time?
Probably 4 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I think about 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So now that we went through that whole process, I want to go through kind of a resume that I'm working on with the client, and then get everyone's feedback here as to what challenges you guys are facing with your own resume. Is that okay, everyone? Sounds good? Okay. Okay, so this is an example of a resume I've written for a client. As you can see here, we have soft skills, determined, pragmatic, structured, and then his skill, account management, 13 years of experience. We have like a metrics here, 5 to 7% domestically, achieving year-over-year double-digit growth, the keen focus of driving customer success and outcomes, provides a consultative approach, providing cost and benefit analysis, mitigating pricing to the distributor. We have the skills, that's from the skill tree I was just saying before. So I wrote that out. And then I think the best part is actually the company overview right here. Everybody misses this, but really it's a really important piece because it helps you to understand what type of company he's worked at and keeps people on the page. You know, if you think about marketing, it's all about, you know, stopping the scroll on like social media and keeping them on the page as much as possible. If you don't know the name of the company, this is Land O'Lakes, you probably heard of them, but if you don't know the name of the company, you give them a quick company overview so that they stay in the resume, instead of like, oh, well, let me do a Google search, and now I'm completely distracted because I saw a news article about something going on, and I forgot about your resume. So, you have a company overview, then you can actually keep people on the resume, and the longer they stay, the more they read, the more they're going to be engaged, the more higher the likelihood of you getting an interview. So Want to open up the floor here for any questions? Anybody have any ideas? Yeah, go ahead.
You had mentioned the hero the archetypes.
Mhm.
Like, how do you weave that in, and what is this gentleman's archetype? Hero archetype.
So yeah, it's a good question. I think that's the main thing there is the difference between the resume and the LinkedIn profile. With the resume, you can make it, one page. If you have a lot of years experience, you can make it 2 pages. But if you notice, there's never like I in a resume. You never see the word I or like these personal pronouns. And that's because it's not supposed to be like for personal branding. Personal branding is on the LinkedIn profile. You have a picture on the LinkedIn profile. You can get more personal with the LinkedIn profile. And so that personal branding piece that we just talked about, that's all about how we're gonna write out the LinkedIn profile. And so, if you're like a protector, if that's like your archetype, right? You can show that in your about section of your LinkedIn profile. You can put that in the featured section in your LinkedIn profile, the pictures that describe to people these certain things. And some of that is more subconscious because archetype is something subconscious. But yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, do you know anything about AIs reading the resumes, and is there a way to kind of design them so that the AIs that are screening out resumes can be optimized? It could be optimized for that.
Totally, yeah. So there's 2 things there. So first of all, there's the applicant tracking system that people talk about all the time, like making your resume ATS compliant. And then there's the AIs. And so to kind of talk about those 2 points, because they're kind of connected, for the applicant tracking system, I always see a lot of like resumes that have these like side columns on the resume on the left, and that is not applicant tracking system compliant because it's harder to scrape it from the resume onto like any kind of document they're using, because it's hard to kind of tell which one you're using. Should I use the left side, should I use the right side? And also from a reading experience, it's like, should I read the left or should I read the right? What should I do? So there's that. So I don't suggest using the columns on the left, and it's not ATS compliant. And so with AI and everything, I have a video on this actually. I recorded with one of my recruiter friends, and essentially they are looking through the resumes sometimes just to kind of pull out what the skills are, and a lot of times it doesn't work actually well, and you have to do it manually anyway. So what I would suggest is optimize it for human reading experience and not to focus too much on AI itself, because while some things could be taken, just scraped from the resume onto any kind of like resume database, it's still a human being that's reading the resume, and it's either a recruiter or it's a hiring manager, and you want to make it an easy reading experience. And actually, this goes into what we're talking about here in terms of UI, UX. So if the user interface, user experience is not enjoyable to read, they're just going to pass on to the next resume. That make sense?
Great.
Any other questions?
So people actually still read resumes? I
Yeah.
mean, like, I always thought that AI, puts them all, like sorts through them, and then further down the process, somebody reads it, and you get all the batch in, and then how does that work? The AI reads it, and then moves it to like this inbox where actually somebody will read it, or how does that process work for somebody who's not familiar with the AI?
Yeah, so again, there's like a difference between the applicant tracking system and what they're reading, what they're not reading, and AI. 2 actually separate things. And really, people are reading the resume, and when you think about how it actually works, what happens is it's all based on like keywords, So if I'm speaking to a hiring manager, I've been a recruiter for many years. Hiring manager doesn't say I need like a software engineer. They say something very specific, like I need someone that understands Lambda, serverless architecture, or can work with NoSQL databases, some specific jargon.
Right.
And so through that, they're going to be searching your resume. So it's sort of like on your resume, it's like an SEO on a resume. So that's kind of, you still want to optimize it for those keywords so that if a recruiter goes there, control find, and they want to pick you up, they can pick you up that way. So yeah, 100%. Humans are still reading it, and the AI and stuff is just, you can't spend too much time on that, because it'll just make your head spin. And there's over like 250 different ATS systems, and they're all not like 100% implemented, right? Because some implementation company comes in, they don't implement it exactly the way that they were supposed to, right? Then maybe they didn't have funding to have the implementation partner to spend all the time on it. So yeah, I wouldn't go too far into the ATS. Just again, prioritize it for the human beings reading it and the user experience reading it.
Wonderful.
Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Yes, thank you guys for attending the first workshop. We try to make these quick because I know you guys have a lot of work to do. And I want to also, I'm really impressed because this is all related. Your projects can be used on your LinkedIn's, on your resume. It's really hard to get high quality projects if you're starting out. This is a place to get a really high quality project out of this experience that you can show to hiring professionals.
Yeah, hiring managers.
Hiring managers, thank you for the proper terminology. But anyway, so please get together with your teams, and if they're not here yet, I would strongly encourage you to start in any fashion that you can, because time will get short really soon. Thank you. Oh, and also we have different rooms that you guys can break out in. Amin was good at marking where those rooms are, the workshop rooms. You're welcome to work anywhere that's sort of obvious. I don't know if Amin wants to kind of take a second to point them out. And just so you guys have breakout spots. So one moment. Do you want to kind of speak to the workout rooms?
Yes. There's just a sign posted on it. It says Charleston Hacks workroom, something like that. Basically, there's some conference rooms spread out typically on the corners of buildings. There's also some balcony areas in the back patio. It's a nice day if you want to work out there. One warning about that is these doors automatically latch. So there should be a rock near each door. Just keep it propped open. It's fine. The AC's gonna be okay. In addition, there's also on the second floor a big